Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to week 9 or week 10 of UPBL Throwing Ropes. Smash that like button, subscribe for more Throwing Ropes. Love to have you here. We got 2 awesome guests. We got welcome back Uncle Jay to the podcast and the reigning champ, Big O Titties GM Little Teddy. What's going on?
How's it going, guys?
Keeping the dream alive, Little Teddy. Soon you'll be Uncle Teddy. But
He already is.
Oh, you are? You're already an uncle. Get the hell out.
Walker. Uncle Walker.
Well, I guess Walker.
Yeah, boom.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about Texas Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
Walker, Texas Ranger.
Well, what's up, Take 5? We hear you in the background.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up, T5?
Teddy, how's it feel to be on the podcast?
I'm good.
Have you listened to it at all?
Good. I'm breaking my virginity on the podcast for the first time.
Breaking my virginity.
Yeah. Nice.
I remember when I broke my virginity.
You know, Teddy, you should be wearing a smoking jacket right now. You know, I think you'd look more relaxed. Perhaps a pipe.
I'm wearing a Carhartt.
Well, yeah. See, that's too blue collar for you. You need the smoking jacket, silk smoking jacket. I think.
I'm wearing
a cashmere or pipe.
Kimono.
A kimono? I wear a kimono. Teddy's too thin for a kimono. And I have a kimono dragon in my pocket, so they work like gerbils.
All right, welcome to the podcast, boys.
Week 9, week 10. Let's get right into the week 9 recap. Fastest 2 minutes.
This week sucked. Who's up first?
I'll take it off.
Teddy, take it away.
Take it off, Teddy.
All right, so we had the Union Peer Machines versus Social Propaganda. We were gifted the return of the mighty Adrian Peterson this past week.
Let's go.
Suiting up and returning to the NFL for the first time this season. Signed off free agency by the Titans. Jack and his Union Peer Machine struck at the opportunity for nostalgia. Put him in the lineup desperately needing some pizzazz. Although Peterson hobbled across the end zone for 6, Jack's team put up an abysmal performance overall, failing to even hit 75 points for the weekend games. Pat Mahomes was worried about his embarrassing brother Jackson. Zach Moss barely touched the ball 3 times before he forgot he was on a playoff contending team after concussive blow. And Cincinnati's D was Swiss cheese this week against the dog pound that is the Browns. Fortunately for Jack, by some miracle, James cleverly named Social Propaganda managed a season-low performance of 57 points, comparable to the movie industry's Razzie Awards for worst performance of the year. Jacoby Brissett somehow managed to limp to a Dolphins win behind a 2-interception performance. Jordan Love seemingly had zero understanding of the Packers playbook in the absence of the almighty and immunized Aaron Rodgers. Without the immunized Aaron Rodgers, normally potent pieces of their offense, like Aaron Jones, failed to provide any noteworthy contribution, only giving James a measly 5 points. Elsewhere for Social Propaganda, the wide receivers were on the struggle bus with a catch rate of 39% over the last 2 games. It was reported that Jacoby Myers was allegedly seen moisturizing his gloves with cocoa butter prior to the game, as he was unable to corral the ball more than 1 time this past Sunday.
Moisturizing James.
And with that, Jack's team, by the grace of God, manages to scrape another win out, somehow still being carried by some dark arts magic that allows the team to score the fewest amount of points possible while simultaneously being matched with an opposing team that miraculously puts on next-level miserable performances.
Well
and
done.
That's my fastest 2 minutes.
Well done, Teddy.
That was insane, Teddy.
Your enthusiasm was irreplaceable.
It was like a priest doing the fastest.
I feel like the level of writing was so high, the mic quality so low. It was just like,
was great though.
Get this guy a mic. He could be on the podcast every week.
You articulated beautifully.
Yeah.
We
just need to get. You know what? You need to write. You got to write scripts for James.
Write scripts for me.
You need to write real scripts for James once you become a doctor.
I'm coming off of like writing personal statements for residency applications, so my creative writing skills right now are really being stimulated.
Stimulated. I like that word.
Yeah,
Stimulated?
Put Walden Pond and the Raven under your pillow tonight. You might write a little better.
All right, who's up next?
I'm ready to rock and roll, bitches.
Let's do it.
All right. This is Howard Blowsell coming to you for live from Jay's basement. In the closest game of the week, Big Old Titties edged out Jamaican Shamans 90-89. Both teams had several underperformers to point the finger at. Taking too many hits off the skull bong for the Shamans was Tyler Boyd and the Dallas defense and special teams, combining for a wicked 4 points. Just inspiring. Oh, my computer just... let me keep going. I got to be a pro here. Okay. The Shamans would have been better off with Bob Marley and Peter Tosh at the wide receiver position this week. That is because Tyler Boyd, I think I got the guy's name right, from Cincinnati, underperformed as well. I missed the spot here. Jalen Hurts so good. Teddy Bridge under the troubled waters, and the bastard son of Franco Harris, Najee, all combined for less than expected projected points. Next up for Team Ganja is the Gridiron. So good luck with that, Uncle Tommy. All right, as for the Big Old Titties, I just kind of nippled myself there. Despite eking out a win, breast augmentation is due for the league's leading rusher. Filling in for that roster spot was double D Cup Derrick Henry, was Jeremy, I'd rather have Christy McNichols. I had to reach for that one. Think of Family from the 70s, but anyway. McNichols can only muster up 5 points. Yet he was not the worst performer for Team Bodacious Tatas. That prize goes to QB Sam Darnold Schwarzenegger with almost 2 freaking points. Get to the chopper quicker, Sam. You gotta, Teddy. I'll trade you. Here. Was this collusion? I'll trade you one of my QBs for all of your running backs.
This is the worst edition of
He's
60 minutes ever.
Next up for Big Old TDs is Team Danky Punch.
We're going to rename this segment Slowest 2 minutes.
Mine.
All right, I got one.
I'm done. Okay.
Jack, rip it up.
Mine is
Back to
ridiculously
journalism
short this
school.
week, guys.
Whoop.
So this week I took Team Danky Bust versus My Name is Bruce, who let this guy into the league. Bruce with Mo Jixon, absolutely looking like the RB1 at the season as a result of so many RB injuries. Bobby Tree's doing well. Carson Repents off the waivers, blasting. With 131 total, despite Chase Edmonds going out early. Unbelievable. Against Team Danky Bunch, Herbie reloaded. Miles Forskin, really the only guys putting up points. Everybody else just, how are these guys professional football players?
Yeah.
Danky Punch ended up with 89.5. Bruce ended up 131.4, continuing to destroy the league. Also a product of his lowest points against, but I also have that affliction, so. Yep. Whoop.
Take medication.
All right.
Hey, by the way, Danky Punch is on sale at Trader Joe's. $2 for a 2-liter.
What is Danky Punch?
There's that good drink.
Wasn't that your team name, or am I?
No, that's mine. You brew
Donkey
that.
Punch.
No, it's Dan. It's
Donkey Punch.
Dan Key Punch, like my name, Dan.
Oh, Dan.
I always thought it was Donkey Punch.
I changed
Yeah,
it.
I thought it was Donkey Punch too.
I did a rebrand.
It's Danky Bust now.
I was trying to come up with a good
Oh.
Listen, you loser.
Jack's coming with flame.
Yeah. Score more than 80 points one week, motherfucker.
Hey. Yeah.
You guys don't tell me smoking this, do you?
All right, hey. So, the Cornshucker 36 Space Cowboys got themselves into a bit of a space jam this weekend against the Goon Squad. The Cornshuckers aimed for the stars and landed in Astro World, where they were crushed by Jonathan Taylor, Lamar Jackson, and the Arizona D.
They're not even buried yet, Danny.
The families of Cordero Patterson, Josh Jacobs, and Stephon Diggs are filing a suit for negligence. by their general manager, Goon Squad 132, Cornchuckers 83.
That's gold, man. That was
Dude.
great.
I know.
Oh, that was great.
I was laughing as well.
The year is 2021. It is week 9 of the NFL regular season and the UPBL Fantasy League season. Fall will soon be giving way to winter, and winter into Super Bowl Sunday. And all the while, fantasy general managers around the world are desperately hoarding the remaining fab. They're doing anything it might take in order to gather enough wins to have a chance at the crown. Who will survive long enough until the painful reckoning that is week 15, the first week of the playoffs? Dread descends upon the league. Such may be the case for our following scene, where we find ourselves abreast an ordinary beaver dam along a babbling brook. Nearby, on higher ground, hunkered down in a Kirkland signature camping tent with a spirit unbroken, despite the distinct lack of mate, we find Keenan Ivory Allen Waynes attempting to start a life-saving fire. He is here to hunt the elusive pitman bear pig, as well as fish for salmon, all at the behest of General Manager Kyle and Stephanie. Meanwhile, the beginning of the third quarter, on Monday night, Space Colony 21 Machinas were leading Team Gridiron 100 points to 99.7. But, like salmon swimming up a stream, the longer Austin pushed for his win during that last week, the more he felt like Sisyphus, and the boulder surely growing weaker with every minute of Monday night and the ball in Big Ben's hands. It didn't matter that Tech Street's back, all right. Indeed, it is also did not help that Bigfoot was Kamara shy. This led to the legislation being pushed by Devontae Booker T. Washington to make AP, an endangered species, fail to garner enough support to pass. Now we return to the beaver dam, and alas, we find the beaver has been killed and eaten by Pitman Bear Pig. And so, General Manager Austin's lead was undone by Pitman Bear Pig, just as Kyle and Stephanie intended. Kyle and Stephanie win 99.7 to 95.32.
Was that your Gunga Din impersonation? What?
There's
what
no-
That was David.
Attenborough.
That was David Attenborough for sure.
Right.
David
That felt like
Attenborough.
that
was
felt like a cutscene in Skyrim.
It was
David
awesome.
Attenborough.
It was awesome, but I can't
Yeah,
wait
you
to
sounded
hear.
like some English bastard.
David Attenborough.
I can't
David
wait to hear.
Attenborough.
I can't wait to hear you yell at Uncle Jay for his 2 minutes being long, and then that.
Was my 2 minutes? I
Slowest
thought it
2
was
minutes
less
this
than
week.
2 minutes.
It was about that long, I think.
Oh.
I think
Yeah,
it was
I
supposed to be.
2 minutes.
I wrote it
at
at the courtroom today.
I thought it was
got
supposed to
thrown
be.
out. I was excused as a juror too. I got thrown out.
I thought it was supposed to be 2 minutes combined.
Congrats.
Everybody.
It is, yeah.
Oh, maybe
Yeah,
that's
that's
it.
Oh, 2
That's why
minutes.
this week's the
Fine.
slowest 2 minutes.
Slowest-
Tommy, take it away.
This week is the slowest 2 minutes.
Turtle 2 minutes. That's
600.
foghorn leghorn.
Jesus Christ.
Say you better get going.
600 miles off the coast of Ecuador, forged in lava and isolated for thousands of years, we head over to the Jimmy Garoppolo's Islands. Famous for being the inspiration behind Charles Darwin's theory on a power walker's victory. Matt Might Be Gay and Devontae Morgan Freeman were no match for Elliot's half-chub. Colt 45 McCoy, Debo Jeff for the 8th time this season. Scoregasm's 99, power walkers 86.
The fastest 30 seconds.
Tommy, you put us all to shame on those. Beautiful.
Is that an NFL Game Boy or something you have going?
It's a
Yes.
hot tub time machine.
Cool.
Every
sound.
time I score a touchdown.
Oh. That's your Viagra then.
Helps get it up. Who's leading off the starts of the week?
Not me.
I guess I I guess. Wait, I could go. I just talked about Garoppolo in my fastest 2 minutes, so I guess I'll start.
You go, Tommy.
Garoppolo's my start. 2 great weeks one against our beloved Bears, the other against a good Arizona team. He had 45 completions. Best 2 games, I think, out of any quarterback the last 2 weeks. Isn't that what you were telling me, James?
Yes, it is.
So, yeah, I'm starting him. I think great start for next.
The real question is, well, when is Trey Lance going to become the starter?
I don't think he will. I think Garoppolo.
Wait a minute. I had Mitch
proven
Trubisky as the number 1 quarterback for the last 2 weeks.
He was on
wait.
he was on the Koof list, I believe.
All right. If I have to explain a joke, it means it didn't work. So Uncle Jay's going back to the drawing board.
Patty, who's your start?
I'm starting Melvin Gordon again. He's coming off a big week. Get me 15.4 points. Now that I lost D. Henry, put Melvin Gordon back in the lineup, and he's looking like the Melvin Gordon of old. So I think he's a big start this week. And I got 2 guys coming off bye weeks too. But should we go to sit as well, or are we just doing?
I got an insider
first.
tip about Melvin Gordon. He was seen at the Wisconsin campus at a keg party with Kaner and Madison. So he was,
Is that
you know,
true?
they might beat up a cabbie, who knows? But your boy was back on campus at Camp Randall at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. So
His old alma mater.
that could
He had
be
like
an
a-
insider tip.
He had like a 300-yard rushing game or something at Wisconsin. Insane.
Wow.
Crazy.
Hell, I had a 300-yard rushing game at Wisconsin one year.
From the cops.
Absolutely.
Jack, who's your start?
Start Adrian Peterson. I don't know. I have 4 kind of weird running backs, and like who knows what's gonna happen. But I think like Adrian Peterson, I feel solid about him. If he gets 60 yards from 10 touches, I don't care. If he gets like 3 points, he might get 3 points.
He'll get 10
The
touches,
worst guy for
40
running
yards
backs
in
in
a
the league.
touchdown. AP's going to get some work. He's going to vulture touches from the other running backs.
He'll get work, but he's old and slow.
Yeah,
but I kind
he'll
of like him.
definitely get work.
I think
He's
it's
still
gonna happen
disciplining his kid with a belt. I hear though.
I think
Spare the rod
Adrian
and
Peterson-
spoil the child.
It's your new Kenyon Drake, Jack.
Kenyon Drake's turned into
Who is Kenyon Drake?
He was a QB 13, RB 13 the past
QB 13. Let's
RB
go.
13 the past 3 weeks for
QB.
Kenyon Drake. Danny, who is your start of the week?
Elijah Mitchell.
Ooh, I got him, bitches.
Elijah Moore.
Oh, I don't have him.
The Jets wide receiver. Because either the Bills are going to blow him out and he's going to get garbage time points, or the Bills are playing badly and they keep playing badly and Elijah Moore scores points.
How did the Bills lose to Jacksonville?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That
Jacksonville
was a
was
fix.
7.
And somebody had money on the game. The refs.
I needed more than 9 points out of Josh Allen. I'll tell you that.
You think?
My start of the week is Russell Wilson. He's back. Got the pin out of his finger. He's got Ciara talking about how great of a leader he is. He is back and ready to lead the
They're going to sign
Seahawks.
OBJ. Seattle.
I hear they or the Packers are in the running.
No,
Packers or
they don't-
Seahawks?
The Packers got too many receivers. It's the Seattle.
Seattle's got Metcalf, Lockett.
They've got him too, but I think Lockett, I think has gotten a little old. I know I'm not. Someone else speak.
Doesn't he have like 275?
Disappointing season for Lockett.
Fun fact: one of my medical school buddies. I don't know if this is a HIPAA violation, but he is
It has to be.
at Cedars-Sinai, where Russell Wilson may or may not allegedly have gotten his hand surgery, and he was one of my good buddies was scrubbed in for that case.
Ooh, allegedly.
Aaron Rodgers was
Allegedly.
his doctor, right?
Who?
Aaron.
There it is. We're
They're
full
both-
circle.
They were both,
Karen
they were both
Rodgers.
immunized.
He's a softie. Karen Rodgers. Not Aaron Rodgers. Karen Rodgers.
Him and Shailene Woodley.
Yeah.
Uncle
He
Jay-
wears the pants. She wears the jock in the house.
Yeah, he's supposed to be. Yeah, I don't know what's up with him.
I
Uncle
think
Jay, did you
Damn.
give us?
she's a cover for his sexual preference.
She's
Mhm.
his beard. She's his
Ooh.
beard. That's an
Hot
old
take,
term
hot
for
take.
you.
She's his beard, yes.
Oh man.
Uncle Jay, did you give us your start?
My start of the week?
Yes.
Oh, well, I didn't, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and agree with someone's earlier estimation about Adrian Peterson. I think they'll work him more. I got brown bags under my eyes? What? No.
No, only 2.
Oh, 2. No, yeah, I think AP is going to get more work as he gets more familiar with the team. And what's the guy's name? McNichols? Was that the other backup
Jeremy
guy?
McNichols.
Yeah, you got him, Teddy, right? Yeah, he's double D Henry's.
They got equal time.
Oh, okay.
Why did you bid on Adrian Peterson first in order, then McNichols? What was your thought process there?
No, I bid on McNichols the day before Peterson got signed because McNichols was available before then. Because
Gotcha.
Peterson was signed the next day.
Gotcha.
And then by then, I had already put in a waiver claim.
Gotcha.
And wasn't McNichols your sister Francesca's favorite player on the team? Wasn't that the other reason you bought him?
Is he from Purdue?
I guess so. Got a not Drew Bledsoe. Who's the other? No, Saints QB.
Drew Brees was from
Kyle
Purdue.
Orton?
Breeze. Yeah.
Oh, Kyle.
Kyle's he's
he
a
was
Purdue
from-
alum.
Was he Purdue?
Yes, he was.
No,
Oh.
I don't know. Anyway,
He
I
went
was
to
just
Lakewood
busting
High School.
Teddy's balls.
He went to Lakewood High
I'm prone to bust all your balls at some point here.
Whoa.
Anyway.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Speaking of balls, Tommy, who's your sit?
My sit is every single Jacksonville's wide receiver. The team sucks. You can't trust any of them. There's better players than I think
I
all.
wouldn't have their water boy on my team.
They have dicks for hands, as they say.
Yeah. They're just bad. They're just bad. I had my guy's
Another
name,
rich owner who the NFL is fleecing.
Marvin
regularly.
Jones Jr. I forgot his name because he doesn't do anything.
Byron Leftwich?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was their QB after Brunel, I think.
Yeah, Chark you can sit.
Chark's
Chenault
gone.
sit.
Anyone from Jacksonville.
You could sit Trevor Lawrence. Did he
I
come back from
dropped
that injury? Does
Trevor
anybody know?
Lawrence last week.
Wow.
He got injured in the game this past week. Does anybody know if he came back?
I don't know. It didn't look too bad, but it kind of looked bad.
But he rolled his ankle.
Somebody fell into his leg, and you never know if it's the ankle or the knee there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
right.
like Jacksonville, the Bears got nobody now, unless you got David Montgomery. He's the only reliable. Mooney didn't someone have Mooney?
Austin.
I have Allen Robinson in my other league.
I
and
got
he
him
couldn't-
too.
He couldn't be more wildly mediocre.
Yeah,
He did
Terrible.
not catch
he's a
anything.
bust.
Tommy,
For me, he's a total bust.
A-Rod?
He had a big catch last game. Actually, there I called back on one of the.
He got lucky on
15
that
yards of penalties
catch.
that the Bears had.
Yeah, the Bears are a hot mess.
Speaking of disappointments, Teddy, who's your sit?
My sit is Jarvis Landry or any other Browns wide receiver, going in
whoa.
the same light as Tommy's pick on Jacksonville. We got, Baker throwing with a torn labrum in his non-throwing arm and a fractured humerus, somehow still churning out
Not
tosses
funny.
out there. But the Browns, they just can't get anything going. I mean, they murked Cincinnati last week, but Jarvis had 2 catches for
Battle
6
of
yards,
Ohio.
I think, or something.
I warned you, Teddy. I told you not to
2
pick up Jarvis. I told you he wasn't worth $10.
I kind of
He's
think
never
that the.
been. He's
I
never
kinda
been
think that-
consistent though. Good.
I'm sorry. I kind of think that the Browns have turned into what the Bears used to be under Lovey. Really good defense. Who's that
Nasty
quarterback?
defense.
I mean, and this happens to be Baker Mayfield. I mean, he's definitely
Baker
better.
Trubisky?
Baker's is he better than Trubisky?
Well,
Is he better than Rex?
so far.
Grossman?
Oh, sexy Rexy. Fuck it, I'm throwing gong.
Kind of the same player. Rex Grossman used to have like the highest passer rating in the league one week and then the lowest the next week.
Yeah, he was on Prozac, I think.
Speaking of Prozac, Jack, who's your sit of the week?
I don't know. I've been thinking about this one, and I think I'm going to sit Zach Moss, and he went out early with a head injury in the game, and I know there's been a lot of historical talk about, what is it, Teddy, CTE or something?
Chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
Yeah,
I wrote
so
my thesis on that.
I'm going to give him a week. The ESPN thinks he's going to get 12.2 points in our half PPR league. I can guarantee you he's going to get 3, 4 points, 5 points if he plays.
You got some insider scoop there?
Insider scoop.
Jack?
If he scores
Okay,
a touchdown, maybe he gets 9. But
All right.
All right, speaking of brain trauma, Danny, who's your sit of the week?
Well, Teddy vultured mine.
Which one?
Which I told you the whole Browns receiver core, and you said, "Oh, cool," and then you just said it.
Well, I have Jarvis Landry on my team.
Hey,
Yeah.
I've got Odell on my bench.
Yeah.
He's gonna play for somebody, bitches.
Well, I would say I've said it before. I've actually said it the last couple weeks, and each time he's been terrible. Patrick Mahomes, sit him. He's absolutely
Ooh.
done. I would cut him to get a new quarterback. He is completely washed.
So aggressive.
I like that, Sidham. I like that. Mine's Aaron Rodgers.
I gotta say, speaking of bums, Uncle Jay, who's yours?
Oh, dang.
Whoop!
This guy's
Yeah, I'm
great.
going with Karen Rodgers. You know, obviously his tinfoil helmet just isn't cutting it in Green Bay anymore. I don't know what he's going to get special privileges because he's Aaron Rodgers, like Michael Jordan did with the Bulls and every other superstar or player gets. But yeah, that I think he's going to have a scarlet G on his uniform the rest of the season, or scarlet COVID.
What's the G stand for?
Green Bay.
COVID.
Oh,
Ooh.
I was thinking something
Yeah,
else.
that was the first thing I could think of.
Gay.
I'm trying to keep 2 kids at bay
that
here.
was the joke.
who, Matt
Well-
Gay? Wait, what?
Well,
Nice subtle punch up.
well,
Throwing it out there.
well. Speaking of expired milk, James, who's your sit of the week? Oh, me.
Oh,
Chris. I'm expired. My team's done. Chris Carson is my sit of the week. He's coming back. He actually
Ooh,
practiced this
Seattle.
week, but this dude has a little bit of a neck injury. Like he's got a severely strange, weird neck injury with with one of his vertebrae. And you could speak to that, Doc T. That might be a little bit too dangerous for him to risk playing the rest of the season on. Now, he's not necessarily activated from IR, but he's able to practice. And when you're activated from IR, you're basically given like a 2 to 3 week period in which you can be truly activated and elevated to the starting team. And if you're not, you go back onto IR and you're done for the rest of the season. So do you think that Chris Carson plays?
Teddy, do you even know if he has something like a herniated disc in his neck, or if it's like if it's like a nerve being pinched? Or what do you think it is?
Chris Carson? I'd have
Yeah.
to look it up right now. What does it say specifically?
He says
Something going on with his neck.
they say he keeps getting stingers, but it's like worse than a stinger, and that it's kind of a chronic condition. And
Sounds
that,
skeletal,
I
not
don't know
muscular.
much about
He
his
probably
injury,
has
but
he probably
Seattle
has,
has other
he's probably
RBs
spinal,
to
either
go.
spinal stenosis or a lot of football players can get spondylolisthesis, where your vertebrae like slips on top of one of the other one and pinches it. A lot of guys get that. He could have a burst fracture that's chronic. Steve Smith had a burst fracture in college at Pomona City College when he was with Chad Johnson there, and then he still played a whole freaking Hall of Fame career after having 2, C7, burst fractures.
so what's needed for like proper care and to not re-aggravate the injury? Like, what do you need to do as
Luck.
a runner?
Definitely not playing in the NFL, but stop playing those. But there's not much you can. Spinal and vertebrae injuries are like all or nothing. You either get fixed and you get a fusion, or rods on either side, or you just leave it alone. Like,
I
don't
got
touch it.
lucky. I have a herniated disc my jelly donut sticks. That's what the doctor described them, jelly donuts for vertebrae. And your dad gave me a steroid shot like ago, and I've had no problems ever since. And he
you could do cortisone shots. I mean, you could if you really.
It shrunk the steroid shrunk the nerve, my vertebrae, and I've had no problem.
What they did for Shazier when he had his spinal contusion was they did a laminectomy, so you just open up that column to give a little space for that spinal cord that's inflamed, but you don't need to do that for a herniated disc. That's way overkill.
Yeah, I was just.
And that's the hard-hitting analysis we come in for, folks.
Yeah, speaking
That's
of,
what we're
None
here
of us
for.
could play in the
give you
NFL. Who
football,
are we joking?
we give you
couldn't
humor.
get punished like that. None of us could take
Give
NFL
you
hits.
medical speculation.
medical.
speaking about cutting out the tumor, Tommy, who's your cut of the week?
Oh, wait, hold on. I got a different one. Speaking of deeply closeted gay men with beards, Tommy, what's your pick?
Direct shot into the chest.
Are you a fucking Aaron Rodgers fan now or something? What is that?
Wow.
My cut is the entire Chicago Blackhawks team. They have
Love it.
played 13 games and
This
they've
dude's
won 2.
We need to play them on New Year's Eve.
This is
bitches.
a football podcast.
They are broken. The whole team's broken.
We do medicine, we do hockey.
You get it all.
Buddy,
over
you
here.
got to come up New Year's Eve. We need some bodies to take.
I should be around.
Uncle Jay,
You
we got to
gotta
get your thing to stop cutting out. It's
Yeah,
like
I couldn't hear you, Uncle Jay.
we're losing you. You're
Do
like
I need to.
yeah,
how's
get
that?
closer to it. Approach.
And then you
Approach
ran
the
to the-
microphone.
Anyway,
So then you kept
Teddy,
on
you got to
talking.
come up for New Year's Eve, and you got to be
I
on
was
my
there.
team because I don't want to
I
chase
was there
your
last
ass.
year.
Oh,
Uncle Jay wasn't.
I've missed the last two.
Yeah,
I
you
think.
were. Oh,
but
that's right. You weren't there last year, Uncle.
I was not. I missed the drop-in rink christening. That rink is awesome. It looked like.
Oh,
The
it's
walls
great.
are so kick-ass.
Yeah, the round corners are the bomb. Just because the
Yeah,
puck
no, it
comes
was
out.
awesome.
That's what you need.
Uncle Jay, you remember you
Yeah.
got that, what's it called? That thin, it was like a thin plastic sheeting that you got
Yeah, just
one year.
regular Visqueen.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
supposed to be fake ice.
Yeah, and it was super cool. Like, it would hit into the side and, like, crack it. The puck would get stuck and stuff.
Yeah, that was for the common area ground, but the street works just as good from what everyone
think
told me. The street's the way to go.
There were two issues where it wasn't cold enough for the ice to freeze in time, for the water to freeze.
Oh, yeah,
And
that will
I-
never – you can't count on that.
And then the courtyard is kind of bumpy, so we were
yeah.
worried about like super uneven ice.
Yeah.
Do you guys
Speaking
remember
of
when
bumpy, Jack,
Speaking of-
who's your...
No,
Hold on,
speaking of
let Teddy say something. Hold the fuck up.
Do you guys
Speaking of
remember when we tried to
Speaking
jump
of
on
Dr.
that
Freeze.
ice rink?
Like, go on,
Exactly.
Teddy.
You guys remember when we jumped on that ice rink, like just down the road on Red Arrow Highway? And
Oh yeah, that was great.
the kid came out and said that his grandpa was going to shoot us with like a shotgun. We were using their ice rink. You guys
I
remember?
don't remember
story?
this.
This was years ago. I mean,
I remember skating at Judy's Motel.
Yeah,
that was
Judy's Motel was the best.
Yeah, that was
I don't remember
Not
where
good
it
with
was.
shotguns.
Jeff will probably remember because it was
Yeah.
only me and him that got on the ice, and he skated around a couple times, and then like this kid came out and he was like, "Oh, you were lucky. Like I came out first because if it was my
Dude,
grandpa,
kids
he would
hate
have
Jeff
shot
now.
you."
Kids hate Jeff.
Speaking of getting lucky, Teddy, who's your cut of the week?
Cut of the week is Sam Darnold. He,
Yikes.
got out there getting yelled at by his own teammate. He's doubtful anyways with an injury. And he did nothing for me last week. 1.78 points. He would have had 7 if he hadn't thrown 3 picks, and 7 is still not cutting it. And I thought he'd turned a leaf this year, going 3-0 to start the year. I thought maybe here's the shining light. Maybe it was just the Jets that sucked.
That was in the Jets,
Sam
yeah.
Darnold was good, but he turned out to prove me wrong. He really did just suck as bad
absolutely.
The key
as the Jets.
is
He's my cut of the week.
the key is to always get like a good player's hand-me-downs. Like when I get a Teddy Rogo hand-me-down player, I'm like, yes. But if you get a Jeff hand-me-down player, you're like, this guy's already fucked. I don't want this guy on my team.
Speaking of hand-me-downs and industrial strength lube, Jack, who's your cut of the week?
Oh god, can we skip me for a second? I gotta look.
Danny.
Danny.
Speaking of artistic license, who's your start of the week?
That just got me fired
My
up.
cut of the week is Jarvis Landry. Get rid of him, Teddy. Don't even sit him. Just get rid of him.
Danny, you should have been like, my cut of the week is Jack for not having one ready.
Oh, I got one.
Hey, my
Okay.
cut of the
About
week
to go there.
Jack.
one ready.
Mine's easy, but I was suppressing it a little bit. My cut is Patrick Mahomes. Like, how can this guy be an elite NFL quarterback? How can it take this
Someone already
long
said that.
for you to randomly have a good game if you're that elite? Can anybody answer that question for me? No.
The
that's
old
what I
man's
got.
having trouble. They got
You're
trouble.
you're free base and COVID vaccine if you believe that. That. There's no way you sit Mahomes cut. No,
it's
no.
Mahomes.
Hey, give him a timeout. That's
Yeah,
You could you could trade
timeout.
him for two amazing.
Yeah, trade him to Jeff.
I would cut.
Jet,
I would cut your
trade him to
Trevor
Jeff.
Simeon.
No, wait,
does
Jack,
us.
don't. He doesn't
Jeff
have
has
any
been
players
snake
for
bit.
trading.
Jeff loves Evan Ingram. I don't remember who I traded for him last year, but it was
Rivers.
Not
No,
me.
Jeff
Phillip
loves
Rivers to win the
Ingram.
league.
He's like
Yeah,
the last
he
2 or
traded
3
me
years.
Phillip
He's
Rivers for Evan
always
Ingram.
talking about.
Eddie, I wrote a report about it.
Oh no,
Yeah,
it's like a
Eddie
mathematical.
You
They
need to-
calculated
you
the
need to get that
return.
report back out.
There are bar graphs showing Jeff's return on investment for trades. And then if you include this year where he traded with me, it's honestly, he loses like over 45% of his value.
No, it's
on,
not a
like,
percent. It's a
trades.
negative value that he is getting.
Sure.
Is he drunk when he's making these trades all the time? Is he impaired?
He's
I
Jeffrey.
guess he
That's
could
the impairment.
He seems to be
He's-
on the
he's-
wrong end of these trades.
He's like a snake oil
I hope he's
salesman
having
comes
fun.
up to- the snake oil salesman comes up to Jeff and he's like, "Oh, give me all of it." You know, he just wants
Right.
all of the
Yeah.
trades.
Or Jeffrey is a snake oil salesman, but to himself. Like you see him
Oh,
mirror be like, no, Tyson Williams? Yeah, man, for sure. He's a keeper.
that was so hilarious. The 2 players you traded him for, he cut like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
That was,
Speaking of Velcro burn, James, who's your cut of the week? It's Tua Tagovailoa. And the
Inagata Davida?
Davida. And the reason is, dude's got a fucked up finger, similar to Russ Wilson's injury, and I know all too well about middle finger injuries to the throwing hand. And that's exactly what Russ had. Tua probably will miss this week too. I expect Jacoby Brissett to start on short rest because it's a Thursday night game.
Tua's a bust. He's
It was a big hit
I don't
too.
know.
he's the current Mitch Trubisky.
Speaking of clown
He was
shoes,
a 1-year wonder, a flash in the pan, a one-hit wonder.
Can't argue with
speaking
that
of-
really. But
speaking of reported activities, Uncle Jay, what's your cut of the week?
My cut of the week? I'm going with Khalil Herbert.
What?
Yeah, Montgomery's back.
Herbert?
And the 2 leagues that I took over for your dad, for
leagues?
James Grider, he was cut in both leagues. And Damian Williams was both cut. So, having observed that, yeah, he's going to be on my bench until further notice. And I'm still not cutting A.J. Dillon yet, James, so don't get your hopes up.
Well, speaking of clown shoes, I
But
guess
yeah,
wraps it
Khalil
up.
Herbert, I think because Montgomery's back, he's gonna get a starting role back.
Beautiful work there, boys. I think we ripped through them all.
Couple of points. Only 2 teams broke 100 points this week.
Brutal.
Oh man, we had me putting up the league low this week.
The league snuff.
57 points.
is
That's
that the
what's
league
going on.
like low? Because I remember
That's
Teddy
gross.
putting up 180 like
No,
2
Jeff
years
put up,
ago.
Jeff put up
You
58.
Put up 187 against
No.
me.
If you
We
guys
talked
listen,
Oh
about
my
this
god, this year
before.
yeah, he might have
We
been
guys
better.
listen to
This
the
conversation.
yeah. If we listened to the last podcast, you would have heard that Stephanie has the lowest score of the week, and it was
Oh,
like
yeah,
28,
that's right.
28.7.
But it was-
That was ridiculous.
But it
That
was
ridiculous.
was it with her trying and then everybody put in?
No, she forgot to put people
No, she-
in.
No,
Week
that doesn't
11.
count then.
That's
Right.
what I'm
No.
saying. Yeah, I think Jeff
James,
had like
we
58 and
tried against each other. We tried.
Oh, we did. That's what's so crazy.
No, and that has to count
I had to
differently
drop
than
Tua.
You can get him
I
back.
what to do
You
so.
can get him back.
Guys,
no one's gonna
if
I
you can
ran
look-
with 2 backups with Jordan Love and Tua's backup at
I
Jacoby
like
Brissett.
love. I like love.
And
Can anybody look at this stream? It's only 10 seconds that I'm playing. 22 seconds, I guess. It's Robbie Anderson getting mad at Sam Darnold.
I got the stream up. I got the stream up.
Things that happen in the background.
we can't
Yeah, I
pull it
can
up.
load. I can see it.
We can,
I'm recording it.
So look, it's like Robbie Anderson's
Yells at
pissed. You see that? But it
he
looks
says
like
something.
Sam Darnold like sneezes in his hat and then puts it right on his head. Achoo! And then
I think he spits in it.
I think he
He's
says
sweating.
fuck.
I think he's just saying fuck.
Oh,
yeah.
maybe he said fuck. Okay, but here's another thing.
Baseball pitchers do that in their gloves.
Here's another thing. Now let's watch DJ Moore. He just can't figure out how to use these stupid. Well, obviously Robbie Anderson can't use the helmet holder, but over here DJ Moore, he's like, damn.
Fuck that.
Hey,
Couldn't get it.
those two guys, those two
He missed it
receivers
once.
don't have a
Yeah, but like
quality
no one-
quarterback.
Yeah, I
You
know.
quarterback ain't getting time, whatever. They're
I don't know.
talented
There's just
receivers.
a lot about this video that I'm enjoying.
Damn, can you
Sam
guys
Darnold-
imagine though,
Sam
like if you're a
Darnold spits in
quarterback?
his hat, Robbie Anderson yells because he's hungry.
So
This
in
guy's like,
when it comes to this statistics, Sam Darnold for quarterbacks, quarterbacks can be rated in 4 areas of the field. Apparently, Sam Darnold is statistically rated last in all 4 areas
Wow.
of the field.
That's terrible.
Wow.
Last,
Speed,
you
too?
can't get much
He's
worse than last.
Of all the starters.
Hey, he can only go up from there.
That's true. There you go, Ted.
He's
See,
been
Ted.
good.
It's like he's like Ted Lasso. Ted
he's looking-
Rogozinski's like Ted Lasso. He's always
I'm
positive.
back.
He's glass half full. He can only go up. It's only
Cat got out.
only positive vibes from now.
So buy now on Darnold is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean stock is low.
That's your
buy
start.
low.
That's your
Buy low,
start.
sell
I'll
high.
trade you
Teddy's-
Lamar
Teddy's
Jackson
starts
for
changed.
Darnold.
Lamar
you get-
Samuel Jackson.
You get the inkling of a good week with Darnold, and he's value to Jeff in any kind of trade.
Teddy, who's winning the league?
Who's winning the league? It's looking like Brucey, but I don't know. Bruce also, both Bruce and Jack, you guys they're getting the people
luck.
scoring the lowest every week. Their opposing teams.
Yeah,
And I somehow have like 200 more points against than everyone else.
yeah, you did have a streak
Tuesday.
where
You're Tuesday.
you were getting clobbered.
I'm looking at it right now. My points against is 1,181. The next, and that's the highest by far. Like by 100 points, that's the highest. Jax, your point against is 863.
Here, I got it here, Teddy, so everybody.
I think the top 4 are the ones who have the best chance. Right now, that's Goon Squad, Uncle Jay,
Yeah, I
Big Ol'
like my
Titties,
chances.
Teddy,
My team
Tommy
is
with Shucker, and Bruce.
I lost Kareem Hunt and Derrick Henry. though,
Yeah,
which is a knife
and you
in
have
the
no
heart.
quarterback, so and you're
And I've
still
been streaming
killing it.
quarterbacks, and like the streamable quarterbacks are now injured too. So it's hard. Like it's really put in. Last week was a nightmare too. I was like shocked that I came out with that win because I hadn't both DK and Mike Evans were both on bye weeks too, and I had to get. I was
How did you win
holding
that?
on to. I have no idea.
luck.
Yeah, pretty much. I
Horseshoe
won
was
by,
I won.
I won
pretty
by-
far up little Ted's
literally
ass.
won by 1 point. But Melvin Gordon had a good game, and the Patriots D got me 21 points.
Only when
Teddy,
you
yeah,
draft them,
that
Teddy.
was the
Only when you
difference.
draft them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that D, that
I've
that
been
doesn't
lucky.
happen.
I've been lucky
Well, yeah,
with the defenses that I've drafted in the last couple
That's
of
what
years.
this fantasy stuff is. It's a lot of luck.
Teddy, you have 318 more points against than Jack.
I know,
A lot.
and that's like the difference.
Dude, I was looking at this. I think I'm officially the lowest scored against team
Oh,
in
you
the
are.
league.
It's on the screen, right?
Yeah,
now.
and
Everyone-
that can
Are you
take
live?
you
Yeah.
I'm back.
places.
That makes a big difference. Yeah, I have it on my
Yeah,
thing.
I agree. It
3
does.
teams are out too, and I am out. Power Walkers, we're both down to 0% playoff, and Danny's down to 1%. But
Let's go. I got it. I got the
So-
chance.
Unless he
So
wins
you're
out.
saying there's a chance.
there is a
There's a
chance for
chance.
Danny. Danny can win out the rest of the year, and he has a chance.
I've seen it happen.
If he, it's happened.
It's happened.
Yes, I've seen it happen in fantasy sports.
So
And
right now,
also,
up the
Space
top
Colony,
9
Scoregasms,
are
they could all implode.
right? Yeah, that's true. Top 9 are
yeah,
vying for
that's
the
the other
last 7
thing.
spots. So
Yeah,
two teams are left.
My team's imploding right now.
My team is limping along. Like, I'd be very surprised
No,
if I.
Tommy, your team is fine.
I
Teddy's
need to
team is
I need to
imploding.
clip Bruce's. I need to clip the Bruce to at least get everybody a game back.
Yeah, that would be nice, Uncle Jay, if you could.
I'm, believe me, I'm gonna cut his Achilles tendon if he doesn't play along.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Teddy.
Violence. Uncle
Teddy,
Jay's
Going with
waking
that
up on
gangster
Sunday and
reference
he's
that
choosing
was-
violence.
Everybody has this gangster Bruce. Hey, I think Danny, you had the mobster reference for Bruce, so I went along with that thing.
Oh God, yeah.
I think Bruce can be upended by any one of you guys. Really, the top. Everybody who's left right now has a good shot.
Anybody can beat anyone any week.
Teddy,
on
I've
any
got a quick
Sunday.
question for you though. Teddy, 2 QBs rule. How you loving it? Are there any rules you thinking about? I don't know. I always like to ask about that stuff.
It's always the rules.
I think I think last year I played 2 QBs in like only 2 games of the year, and one of them I lost, and the other one was the championship, and that one I won. But the other game of the year that I had 2, every other game I think I played a position player, a different receiver in that position or a running back in that position, and
Question for the
clearly
group:
didn't make. It was pretty poor quarterback play last year, and it seems like it's the same thing this year. It's poor
Is Teddy
quarterback play.
doing it right by?
I think Teddy's right.
Yeah, that's.
I
I
didn't-
thought
I
it was
didn't
Teddy's
start-
strategy
By
to
usually
go with
playing
0
a receiver
QBs.
in his
I
OP
think if
spot.
you look at my lineup, everyone. I guess I'm giving away my secret here, though. It's like
Yeah,
it's not that
you have
much
a
of
0
secret. It's
QB
a
approach.
If you look at my lineup, like in any other league I'm in, I would never be able to have this lineup of players.
You need a QB.
Because everyone
Yeah.
went for QBs first, and I have DK, Devontae, and Derrick Henry and Kareem Hunt all on the same team, which would never happen in another league. Because everyone goes for Pat Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers first. Whereas, no, I'm drafting.
Yeah,
What's interesting though is that you don't
hitters.
play a second quarterback. You basically always play a wide receiver or running back, somebody else.
Yeah,
that's the depth he has with those positions.
If you have Devontae, who's going to score, usually 25 to 30 points pretty consistently, and Derrick Henry, who's also going to score that, I'll feel a little bit more confident about throwing someone else in that position.
Yeah.
Whereas if I have a second string quarterback, or not a second string quarterback, but a quarterback that's could score 20 points, but probably is going to hover around 11 to 14. You're better off putting in a better, wide receiver 2.
Yeah, if I
playing a
had your
shitty
roster,
team.
I'd do the same thing, Teddy.
Yeah, but
But what
now
if you?
I'm
What if
having
you?
to play-
Hold on. What if you?
Right now, I'm having to play 2 quarterbacks because my team is so hobbled anyway. So I am picking up 2 shitty quarterbacks.
But what if you have Josh Allen and Justin
He'd
Herbert?
be in first place.
Then Josh Allen.
He'd
and
be in
Justin Herbert,
7-1 like Bruce.
I would play both of them at the same time, but to start the season, I had Trevor Lawrence and Matt Jones, so I didn't need both of them. I was playing Mac and then
they're
playing
both
2 position
zeros.
players.
What's an
And-
interesting wrinkle you could add to your strategy, though, Teddy, is now that you hoard all that talent, you should maybe trade a little bit of it and then go get a good quarterback. Maybe you went and get Stafford, knowing that, I think Stafford's going to be a top 8 quarterback the rest of the year. I'll go trade a little bit of this and go get him.
Yeah.
Always good to take advice from the 1-7 team, Ted.
Who won the championship the year before? Teddy.
We didn't have
but
2
strange trade with your brother, but yeah.
James,
we're here to entertain ourselves, but I would consider the lineup.
Oh, you cut out Uncle Jay for a second there.
Oh, I would consider that if I had your lineup of talent, to trade at least for a number 2 quarterback that gets you at least 16 points every week.
Yeah.
You can't depend on the Sam Darnolds week in and week out at all.
Yeah, I usually try to make up for it with the other.
Tannehill.
guys.
If you had Ryan Tannehill, you'd probably be 2 more wins.
Ryan Tannenhill sucks donkey dick.
Or just Kirk Cousins, or maybe I'm wrong with. and sure he doesn't have Mahomes or Jackson or Rodgers, but there's some
Right now,
two-tier,
elite,
second-tier quarterbacks that would fill his roster and make it a dynamo.
I
I
agree.
do. The one thing that's good about I guess we could do it where we don't have two quarterbacks, but you still have the option of not playing a tight end. Because last time,
Yeah, I like
I
that.
think we had to play the tight end, but instead you could just have 3 wide receiver / tight end positions, or a flex.
That's a
And
fantastic
instead of the
rule.
2 quarterbacks, because then there's literally 2, maybe 3 tight ends in the league of value. Because the rest just don't get the ball thrown to them.
Yeah, they're
like-
worthless.
Kelsey, Kittle, and Darren Waller are the only ones in the league that actually get you points. Everyone else is Cole Kmet had a big game. Occasionally now Gronk will have a big game, but he's injured a lot.
Hawkinson.
So, yeah, Hawkinson can occasionally have a big game, but the Detroit sucks ass.
Yeah.
Or is he still on Detroit? Yeah, he is, right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is.
He's their best receiver.
Yeah, he's their number one receiver. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's just none of them can be relied on except for Kelsey is the most consistent. He was the only one that put points on the board for Jack last week. He had 15.3.
Yeah, I think I said this before. My only
Facts.
thing would be to add, another slot or 2 to the injured.
Mark Andrews is number 2.
IR spot. Uncle Jay, get a little closer to the screen.
Yeah, another IR spot. Because
a third IR spot.
You can't control injuries. You should be able to, save all your good players that you want to keep. On
I was holding on to
reserve.
Michael Thomas for holding out.
Yeah, you
Thomas
gambled on him. I saw that.
Well, I was trying to. It happened to me too 2 years ago with AJ Green, and the same thing happened. He held out the whole year, and I was thinking he was going to come back. I don't think Michael Thomas actually has another ankle injury, though. I think he's just holding out, waiting to be traded. But they missed the trade deadline, so he's just going to go free agent and get picked up.
I think that's part
I
of.
I don't think he's on the Saints next year. He's definitely not on the Saints.
I think
All right.
people getting so prone to injury is why having a 2 QB or a super flex spot is so hectic, because it's impossible to roster 2 QB1s. It's impossible.
What do you mean?
It's not impossible.
What do you mean? You and Danny have done it.
I've got it right now too.
Yeah, Uncle Jay's got
That you
it too.
drafted?
But
He's got Stafford.
Oh my
it's
God,
a lot of
Stafford's
luck.
fire.
And I spent a lot of draft capital getting. Again, it's all luck. But I wouldn't change a thing of what we're doing right now.
It's a
I
great
think
league.
it's good to go.
The one thing I do wonder about is Fab, and Fab's perfect right now. But I wonder about running it on Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays, leaving it open Saturday for the weekends, leaving it you could just free agency for the weekends. But basically, so that way during the week, those moments where say Chris Carson gets hurt at practice, and say Danny or me's the first one to find out at 2:20 p.m. We're the first ones on our phone. We could go claim them. But if we set to everyday Fab with $0 bids, that way you don't have to spend $1 of Fab. You could put in a $0 bid. Everybody would be able to put in for him at that evening, and then somebody will win him the next day.
What tie breaks it?
The teams with the
lowest
worst records should get a crack at the best players first.
They do in Fab.
I think for all the years I've played fantasy football and in how many different leagues, I don't think I will ever take the effort to understand how the waiver wire works. I put in the names and just hope for the best, and then my name pops up the next day, because I never understand how that shit works.
Oh yeah.
Good point, Teddy.
Especially the Fab. I think I'm out of money now.
Yeah, I actually read about a rule in a
Monopoly
Reddit
money
league.
anyway.
There's a Reddit league rule where if you're number 12, if you're last place in a 12-man league, you get $12 of Fab that week, and if you're first place, you get $1. I've read it that way. I think that's cool.
I don't know if I could adjust people's Fab after fact, but that's an interesting idea.
I think we had in one of my other leagues, and I got upset because I was like the first place team. I've been last place in my other league, and I was trying to turn it around, and I went for like 2 waiver wire picks, and they both went to the first place team, and I was like, all right, fuck this, like whatever the setting is, it's like
the team with the best record shouldn't get the first crack
exactly.
at the best.
They never
talent.
do.
I had no idea.
In Fab, they don't. In Fab, whoever spends the most money of their budget.
Well, that doesn't guarantee the worst team. What if they don't know how the bidding thing works, you know?
That way. I still think it should just be last place team. Should be.
Yeah, the last place team should get the chance
It
at the
does
best
have a
player
rubber-
available.
No,
It does have a rubber banding / like fairness like thing going on where it's like the last place does get better.
It does allow everyone to get the best player.
But no, this isn't like that's like playing Mario Kart, and the team that's in last place like gets that boost to win.
It's exactly.
I don't think that's how it should be, because then James wins.
But he's not.
He just gets a shot at improving his team by one player.
He can by dropping $10 to get one.
Any other questions and comments, boys?
I have to get going. I have to drive to Burbank to close down Grandpa's house. I have to cut out.
Holy shit. Thanks for coming on the show, though, Uncle Jay.
It was good to talk to all you. I had a blast. I will do it again. Save some of that for me, Teddy. I need a little snot rocket for later. Anyway, this was great. It was fun. It was entertaining. Let's do it again. We'll bug all you guys later.
Absolutely. Teddy, thank you also.
Thank you guys for coming on.
I'll see you guys.
Bye.
Take 5, Tommy. Good work, Bear Boys. Great show. We'll catch you guys later on another episode of Throwing Ropes. Smash that like button. We'll catch you guys later.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.